and running. Bismarck is taking us to our next destination, the Anamnesis Anyder. Yeah, we're doing a return trip to the seas. Okay, so the stream... Okay, I can't see the stream running again, okay. I was worried for a bit. So yeah. Hey there, Captain Fiesta. Are you ready for a party? Because these guys are. Yeah, they're not waiting for you. They want to come and say hello right now. They're not even going to wait for us to arrive at the intended destination. They're going to meet us here right away. So away we go. So yeah, this is already showing off something that you're going to see a lot in this dungeon, which is a lot of recurring elements from previous dungeons. You may already be familiar with the music from this dungeon. You've probably heard before. It's the original Sastasha, the very first dungeon of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Then, the fact that we're getting to our destination while riding on Bismarck invokes inspiration from places like Dunskaith and the Siren Song Sea. Yeah, we got all these various sea creatures coming after us in order to try and get us out of their land. I honestly don't know how I didn't take damage there, because that could have been very awkward. In fact, the way these enemies are positioned is pretty awkward. Alright, that takes care of him. Get clear of that. And go. And there it is. Now to show you the best part. Check this out. This is how we transition to the next section. Bismarck is taking us down a narrow corridor of coral, falling rocks. Like this is like the craziest ride simulator you've ever seen. We even have to bust through a wall of rocks to get to where we're going. Hey there, Nate. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you with us. But yeah, now we have to fight out some new enemies. All while we continue to make our way through this crazy area. Good thing I was standing where I was. That way, not so much. But yeah, look where we're going. Look how this is all set up. This is beautiful. Yeah, who knew you would ever have to get to see something like this in a dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV? And I can tell you already, I've already run this a few times with Mathia and Corinne, and it's pretty much a unanimous consensus that this is already one of the best dungeons ever created. If nothing else than just for this intro area alone. They really went above and beyond with this place. Yeah, and the fact that we're doing all this fighting while on Bismarck in of itself is crazy. Alright, that takes care of him. So now we'll go ahead and change perspective again. Yeah, shooting a bubble. And thus, we are now docking at our destination. And away we go. Yeah, and if you thought that was something, well, Here's where they start to add more elements from previous dungeons with this unknown enemy. Let's get right in there. Already a 42,000 point crit hit on a jump. Yeah, that is a good start. Yeah, this unknown guy, yeah, he really likes to mess with you, including using copious amounts of AoE, and something you may not notice right away, a spinning wheel of death, which requires you to get out of the way out of it as quick as you can because it can be something that you don't pick up on right away. Yeah, it easily gets camouflaged under all that AoE. You just have to be ready to make a break for it when the opportunity comes. Because yeah, if the AoE doesn't get you, that attack will. And now we got this stack mech. I need you guys to come over here. Oh, red mage again. Oh, we're starting over. Yeah, because now comes an element from the hard mode of Stone Vigil. He's brought a friend. Well, we do have a paladin, so he can survive this in theory. But we need to endure for him as long as we can. Yeah, can the paladin and I hold out? Oh, stack mech. Oh, how convenient, you're on the opposite side. Breach it. Yeah, you're the only person I can rely on. Oh, hi there. Yeah, now we got another stack mech. I have to run over to him to get it. Yeah, get out of the way of the death clock. Yeah, we've almost got the first unknown dead. He's down. And we're somehow still going. Yeah, I can only hold out for so long. Until I finally run out of gas myself. Yeah, and the thing is, can he continue to endure the stack mechs? Yeah, now we're watching a paladin trying to endure the last 2/3. Yeah, trying to save himself with as much clemency as he could, but he just couldn't hold on. Yeah, come on there, Captain Fiesta. Let's turn this into a party. Alright, time to deal with the death wheel. So let's just stop. Go over here. Get out of the way of that giant laser. Yeah, you may also notice the remix of the boss music from Shadowbringers is being used here. Now we got Stack Mech. This time we avoided everything. Careful with that. Yeah, you never know when an errant attack from unknown number 2 will come around. Yeah, we've almost made it to the end of unknown number 1. He's down. Now let's never break a thread. Keep going. Run to the Stack Mech. Watch out for the giant laser. Almost to the end here. And down he goes. So the items here from gear are item level 455. And now we run into some more open areas, as it were. That means we get to have the opportunity to kill more enemies at once. So let's start piling on the damage. Go. Now turn over to this side. And there we go. Now for his friends. Stay on top of him. Now we're gonna pull all the way to where the next boss area is. Don't do anything yet. Yeah, now do something. Yeah, they really want me to hang on over here. And now, oh, step back. Yeah, we see it trying to shoot over there. Yeah, make it count. Come on. Yeah, stun him for a few seconds. It'll be for his last few seconds on Earth. Alright, off to mini-boss number 2. So now we got this happening. Here's our next mini-boss. Now, with this boss, we're actually going to see some more inspirations. from previous dungeons and trials in this instance as well. Yeah, this Cyclops has actually got a few elements of him that might be very familiar to you. Yeah, he's gonna do these moves. Yeah, you may remember these styling of patterns from before. These were used in one of the battles in Omega. But in this instance, they're used a little differently. In this instance, you've got to remember the pattern, the order in which the pattern appears. Because that's when the symbols are going to go away and they're going to blow up. Alright, load up. 45,000 points on a crit hit. Alright, so now he's going to do this again. This time the patterns are starting on the even numbers. In order to make ourselves safe, we need to do this. Bide your time, then move. Which is what the Red Mage did not do. Hopefully that final burst did not come in too soon. It did. Yeah, just bad timing all around. And so now we're gonna see this repeated. Oh, stack mech. I don't know where you guys think you're going. I was already standing there the whole time. Yeah, I came to you guys. You didn't have to run for me. Yeah. Now here's where he does the swing move that you've seen in places like the Oran Vale. From the second mini-boss. That's because this particular guy is modeled after that second mini-boss. To some extent, but he has a lot more to offer, as you've clearly seen. But he's down. At the cost of the Red Mage. And so away we go. Gotta keep the blood of the dragon flowing. Okay, he is gonna go for it here, which is actually a bad idea, which is something you're gonna see in a moment. Because we need to get to these Anyder Diviners because, yeah, these guys are focusing all their energy on trying to recharge these crystals. And if you don't stop them fast enough, bad things happen. And since our tank acted too hastily, we couldn't save ourselves from all these enemies getting spawned. Yeah, our tank acted a bit prematurely to not wait for the Red Mage to arrive and allowing all these enemies to get spawned. Yeah, this is a place where you just cannot go full blown big pull when you want to. Or else you have a situation like this occur. Alright, down he goes. Into the air. Now we gotta do this again. It's like, where is everyone? Why is no one helping me with this? Well, at least we stopped one of them. Yeah, take that, you. Yeah, that, under the circumstances, that's really the best you can do. Is try and get one down. Obviously, as the gear gets stronger, we'll be able to get more defeated. It's basically like a similar element found in Castrum of Banya in Stormblood, where you have to try and destroy the canisters or the incubators, as it were, that were holding the enemies that were inside them. And if you destroyed the incubators, then the enemies wouldn't come out of them in time. So yeah, another instance where inspiration from a previous dungeon was borrowed and used very effectively. Yeah, they just took a lot of great elements from previous dungeons and used them very well. And it doesn't end here, as we make our way towards the final boss. And there it is right there. Yeah, looks like we got a turtle to deal with. But in actuality, it's a fish that's combined with a turtle. We got this thing to deal with, and the tank has decided to pull early. Yeah, this tank just has not learned. This tank has clearly not learned their lesson, and so, very well. Now we have to deal with Ruxdeen, the final boss of the Anamnesis Anyder. And now we have the more traditional version of the song. But I will say though, watch out for those giant hands. Because yeah, they're not here to give you a high five. Yeah, if one of them does give you a high five, they will be damaging you. Now, remember that mechanic from the very first boss, final boss of Sastasha, that you had to neutralize the enemies, but no one did that anymore because of the fact that there was no point in doing it because you could easily just burn the boss down. Well, here you can't do that. You don't have that luxury. You have to kill the ads if they appear, which they did, and they killed off the red mage again. Yeah, you also have to defeat the ads before you can get back to damaging Her Majesty. Alright, now for this next section, we gotta watch which order the hands arrive. Okay, that actually works out favorably for us, because we need to position ourselves right over here, as that set gives us a high five. Now we have to sprint to the other side to find the one safe spot. And that's how that works. Yeah, it is a technical final battle. It's not as bad as the first two. In fact, I would say it's the easiest of the three battles. But that doesn't mean it's not hard in its own right. Now we gotta do this again, but now it comes with a twist. We have to stand over here, or maybe stand over this way. Yeah, because now we have to, any grate that gets a high five on it, that fish, for whatever reason, actually drowns, which I didn't think was actually possible. But apparently in this particular dungeon, it is possible that a fish can drown from getting a wet high five. Oh, not yet. Now. And pow! Now we gotta do some more of this. So Once again, the focus is the middle of the room. Yeah, keep it away from me, but we can't advance until the high fives take place. And get on in there. Let's latch on to you. Yeah, you've had a rough go of it there, Red Mage. $45,000 on crit hit. Alright, what will be the order? Works out for us again. Wait for the high fives to get splashed down. And then hustle over to the other side. Sadly, the red mage got swallowed up again. Should I have waited until the red mage was properly revived? Sure, but we didn't know how long it was going to take. But from here we can just go and finish the boss off. And there we go. Yeah, this swollen fish turtle is going back on its shell and it's going away. Yeah, definitely got a shell shock on that one. And thus brings an end to what could very well be the greatest dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV history. And apparently everyone was in such a hurry to leave that I got everything that they left behind. Including a Dragoon armor, but I don't need it because I already have something stronger. And I got 2 comms out of the trouble. Well, I was the most durable DPS out there, so that wasn't much of a shock. So, after our victory...
This structure must have served an important function. And here are yet more crystals.
I too noted the crystal repository on the way. The Benthos seem to employ them in their spellcasting.
In such vessels did the ancients preserve concepts, ideal forms to be drawn upon in the act of creation. That so great an abundance should reside here lendeth credence to Ishtola's conclusion. This facility held great significance.
It certainly did. So what's going on in here exactly? Well, we're about to find out. Yeah, what's going on? It's images of the masked people in robes that we saw in Amarat. A lot of them. Quite imposing, isn't it? Yeah, and they have stuff to say in this cutscene. Thank you all for joining us at the Anyder in these most perilous of times. By the summoning of Zodiac, we have been granted a reprieve, yet immutable as the laws he has woven may seem, they will not serve to forestall our doom. Nay, should we continue down this path, our fate would be the same. I said as much to the convocation, of course, but the stubborn fools turned a deaf ear to my warnings. I hoped that the defector at least would side with us, but I regret to report our overtures have gone unanswered. Whether your thoughts, Fenar, where you lead, we will follow. Yeah, Fenar? What's he doing here? But Fenar's Okirian, a being like you. Fenar's a heretic! So that's what Fenar looks like in this game. I shall not speak ill of the convocation. They too seek only to secure the future of the star. Yet it is plain they will not countenance a permanent solution. That being the case, we must ask ourselves a simple question. Are we prepared to pursue our chosen course, even should it mean the suffering of eternal condemnation of our brethren? If so, I see no further reason to demur. Let us bring forth the light that shall ever after keep the darkness in check. Quite a revelation, isn't it?
So, it was they who first summoned Hydaelyn.
Their discussion did seem to imply as much, yes. I cannot say I have ever heard of this Venar before.
For a certainty, Emet-Selch never uttered the name, speak though he did of the schism which Zodiark's advent wrought upon mankind. Some were of the viewpoint that his power must needs be restrained, and to that end they call forth she who would serve as his shackles.
More or less.
We now know that it was this Venar to whom they looked for leadership.
And that this place, in all likelihood, served as their headquarters. The presence of such intimate records attests to that. I would hear what else they have to tell us. All of it. Did anyone see the source of the image?
Well, yeah, we can tell you where it is. That glowing light right over there.
The device there? Then let us see what other secrets it holds.
If any. Yeah, let's have a look. And so now we have a conversation between just two. Venar, please. Why must it be you? If I may speak plainly, I'd sooner it were another. Any other. You are our leader. None can take your place. You know as well as I that few support our cause. Far fewer than they who place their faith in Zodiark. And so, if Hydaelyn is to stand a chance of opposing him, I am the only one who might suffice as her heart. Rest assured, however, I shall not vanish from this world. The form I take shall ever remain my choice. Then I will press you no more. Only know this, you will be sorely missed. I wonder, is this how the convocation felt about Elidibus? So you knew about him too? And that's all we get to know from this particular conversation. And with that, the light turns out. That was a lot to take in, wasn't it?
What? Forgive me, but did that not strongly imply that Elidibus sacrificed himself from Zodiark's heart?
7 hells. Then who or what are we dealing with?
Who knows? Yeah, we have a lot of questions to get answered. It sure looks like the quest ends with you. The device appears to activate via a form of ethereal attunement, not unlike an aetherite. Beyond that, I can say little for certain, save that we should take this opportunity to see what other records it contains. Well, let's see if we can crack the code on it. But it doesn't seem like we can. No response, confound it. Maybe we got all we could out of it? If I may, milady, the panel did formerly emit a soft yet perceptible glow. That it doth so no longer may betoken the depletion of some essential energy within. Given how long it has lain dormant, I think it fortunate it functioned at all. That may be, but if we can't get it to work again, we'll be leaving with more questions than we've answered. Yeah. The white-robed emissary hath ever named himself Elidibus. Yet if the shade spoke true, Elidibus ceased to be ere even the sundering came to pass. This calleth to mind a truth that Emmett Silk did once reveal in passing, that the names by which we know our foes are not given to the Ascians at birth. Rather, they are titles of office afforded to individuals of merit at such time as the role becometh vacant. Perchance the Elidibus at Zodiac's heart and the emissary with whom we are acquainted be not one and the same, but predecessor and successor. Maybe. It's possible, if the previous Elidibus perished before the final days, the one we know could still be a survivor of the Sundering. And yet, something in that explanation rings false. I'll remain for a time. I will not abandon my attempts to revive the device so soon. There is more to learn here, I can feel it. In matters of aetherology, I know of none as capable as thee. If there existeth a means to learn more, thou wilt surely find it. While thou art thus engaged, we shall attend to matters on the surface. Indeed we shall, so thus we will take our 4,000 gil and complete this quest. So yeah, we're gonna leave a Stola behind to spend some time in here, so it's a reminder that we have the ability to trust in here now.